For today's project, we will be aerospace engineers, and we're going to be designing a space lander that can help astronauts land safely. Landers are attached to spacecraft and detach when landing at their destination to get astronauts from space to the surface of the planet. Now that we know what we're making, let's make sure that we have all of our materials ready. Inside of our bag, we will need 2 index cards, which should measure 3 by 5 inches, 2 cardboard pieces, which should measure 3 inches by 6 inches, 2 pipe cleaners, 2 plastic straws, 1 9-ounce paper cup, which will serve as the body of our space lander, 4 small popsicle sticks, 4 double-sided squares, 2 small sponge pieces, which are going to act as our astronauts when testing, so make sure to put them aside and not use them while we're building. And then outside of these materials, we'll also need a blueprint worksheet, a pen or a pencil, some scissors, and some tape. Once you have all of your materials ready, we can start building our project. Before we begin building, we must design what we want our space lander to look like on our blueprint worksheet. Remember that blueprints give students a guide for what they're about to build, as projects such as the space lander have freedom on the final design. So we may use all of our materials, some of the materials, and all of the students' designs may look different. When designing our space lander, we want to focus on 3 components, which are the shock absorbers, which will cushion the fall of the lander, the stability of the lander, which will keep it from falling apart and tilting over once it has landed, and lastly, the body, which will need to carry our astronauts and keep them secure. I will now design my blueprint with those goals in mind. I also like to encourage my students to label the components of their blueprint with either the materials that they're going to use, the functionality, or both, so that they can have a better idea of how many materials they're going to be using to make sure that they can actually build their design. And here is my design. If you're not sure where to start, you can follow along with me and then add your own ideas on the way. And you can have students follow along with your blueprint in class, but make sure that you give them time to draw up their own ideas. We want the students to focus on absorbing the shock from the fall, so stay away from covering the cup with tape or taping the astronauts inside of the cup. Our cup will be acting as our crew module, and it should house our astronauts without them falling out, without having to tape them in place. Here's my design. If you're not sure where to start, you can follow along with me and then add your own ideas along the way. You can have students follow along with your blueprint, but make sure that you give them time to draw up their own ideas. One thing to note is that we are going to be using our sponges as our astronauts in our space lander, and they should have somewhere to sit. So for me, the crew module is going to be the cup on top. Your students should focus on absorbing the shock and the impact of the landing, so they should avoid taping over the top of the cup or taping the astronauts in place. And once everyone is done with their blueprints, we can get started on building. Again, if the students have their own ideas, they can work on their own, but if they are having trouble starting, they can follow along with your design and build. The first thing that we're going to do is attach our cup face up into the middle of one of our cardboard squares. You can do this with some double-sided squares or just some regular tape. And this is going to act as the body of our lander, which the astronauts are going to go inside of. So I'm going to add some tape onto the bottom of my cup like so, with some hanging off, and then place it into the center of the cardboard facing up. And I'll add some to the other side to make it a little bit more secure. Now we have our body attached, we can set this aside, and next we're going to build our shock absorbers. These will absorb the shock of the fall so that the space lander is protected when it lands. And to do this, we're going to grab one of our note cards, and we're going to fold it back and forth so it makes kind of an accordion shape. and it will end up looking like this. Make sure you fold it one way, and then don't fold it over again. Fold it the opposite direction, and make sure that it's about the same width as the first fold on every fold after that. Students sometimes struggle with figuring out how to do this step, but as you can see, once you get a pattern down, it's easy to fold it all the way through. And I've got my kind of accordion shape. Now we're going to repeat this step with our other note card. Try to get them to be the same height with the same number of folds, as one of these will go on each side of our Spacelander. So I'm going to make my first fold about the same size as the first fold on the other one. All right, so now I have my two accordion-shaped shock absorbers. And next we're going to tape each of these cards underneath the cardboard piece with the cup taped onto it. We're going to tape the shorter side of the note card along where it's folded onto the bottom of the cardboard, and that will look like this. So you see I'm putting some tape where half of it is hanging off of that flap on the end of the note card, and then attaching it to the inside of the cardboard, like so. And I'll repeat that step with the other shock absorber. Just like so. And once you do so, it should look like this. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to tape the other end of the note cards to the second piece of cardboard that you should have available. This should be about the same as taping them to the top piece, and it should look like this. So I will go ahead and tape these together. And as you can see, after I connect them, this is what your shock absorbers and your cardboard should look like, and you can kind of see how it absorbs some of the shock. So that's it for the basic foundation of our Spacelander. Now we can do an initial drop test to see how it works. So I'll drop it onto my desk, and you can see that the Spacelander has kind of slumped over to one side. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some pipe cleaners on each side to help keep it upright. We'll take one of our pipe cleaners and we're going to cut it in half. So I can fold it in half, crease it, and go ahead and cut right there, like so. And we're going to tape each half of our pipe cleaner, one to the top and one to the bottom, going around the outside of our shock absorber, like so. So I'll grab my tape. Tape one side onto the top, grab another piece, and tape it onto the bottom. And it should kind of bow out like that, and I'll repeat that with the other side. So you may want to measure your pipe cleaners and bend them in the proper shape so that there's just a little bit of tension, while still allowing the note cards to bounce around and absorb the shock. And now these pipe cleaners will add some stability to the side of our Spacelander, while still allowing our shock absorbers to work. Now that we're absorbing the shock of the impact, we also want to ensure that the lander itself stays safe from the surface that we're landing on. We can cut 2 straws in half to create 4 pieces, which we'll use as legs for our Spacelander. So I'll go ahead and fold the straws in half. These ones you do want to be a little bit more precise with, just because you want all of the legs to be the same length. So after cutting, I'll put my pipe cleaners next to each other to see their relative height. They all look pretty good, so I'll leave them just like this. I'm going to use my double-sided squares to help me attach these to the bottom. So I'll attach the sticky side like so, and then peel off the green backing. I'll place the straw onto the double-sided square, and then I'm going to secure it with some regular tape. Just like so. And now I'll repeat this step with the other pieces of straw and the other 4 corners of my space lander. And with that, we can stand our lander up, make sure that the legs are working, and our space lander is completed. This next part is optional, but normally we will be using our pieces of sponge as our astronauts. So you want to put those inside of the cup at the top and protect them when the lander lands. But if we have extra pipe cleaners, you can also fold them up like a person and add them to the payload with your other astronauts. So I will just do that with this pipe cleaner briefly. And this is something I like to do just to encourage students to use all of the materials if they haven't already, and to also make sure that they're protecting the astronauts in their design. You can probably fold this a lot better than I am, but I'll just make it look like a little person. Some arms and legs. And I'll place these inside of my space lander. And when we test, we're going to want to make sure that none of these pieces in the top fall out and that the lander itself stays sturdy. So one thing to note is that you should also encourage your students to test their design as they're building it. Maybe after they add a component, they can test it and then go back to the drawing board if it does not work. And that's a good way to ensure that they have a working design by the time we get to the testing phase. So now that we're done building, we're going to start testing. So we can do that by just dropping our space lander from slightly off of our desk like so. And you can see that my space lander survives, kind of moved a little bit, and you may have seen the astronauts jump out of the cup, but the shock absorbers did a great job at absorbing that fall. And so now that our space lander has survived a fall to the desk, we can also try dropping it from like waist height at the desk next to us, or we can go outside and see if we can drop it from really high up, maybe from a playground. And you should also try to drop your space lander onto different kinds of surfaces like asphalt or concrete, or maybe onto uneven surfaces to see how it acts. And you can have students kind of test it and go back and iterate on their design based off of how their space lander works. Your lander might fail if it tips over, does not absorb enough shock, or if a component breaks off. And if this happens to you or one of your students, take a step back and iterate on the design before testing again. And some common improvements could be having stronger legs that sort of are more balanced or don't fall off. And you could add some feet to the legs, maybe to make your lander more sturdy. You can also create better shock absorbers or a more secure cabin for the astronauts. And you should remind your students that improvement is part of the engineering design process, and you should encourage them to build and test and improve their projects again and again until they get the result that they want. We now have this working space lander, but how does it work? Aerospace engineers must consider many factors when designing something such as a space lander, such as the surface that the astronauts might be landing on, the weather at the surface, or how much gravity the planet or moon that they're landing on has, and much, much more. We designed a general purpose lander which has legs that can hold the lander up on any kind of surface, and shock absorbers which absorb that impact. And just before impacting the surface, the lander and the body have a lot of kinetic or moving energy going in the downward direction. The lander has gravitational energy that's pulling it towards the surface of the planet, and it would be very dangerous for the astronauts and the cargo if the lander just hit the ground with that amount of energy. And so our shock absorbers take in some of this energy and allow the body of the lander to dissipate or release some of that kinetic energy. On top of all of this, the pipe cleaners ensure that our lander is sturdy and does not fall under this high stress of all of these forces. In the real world, aerospace engineers do hundreds, if not thousands, of tests on space equipment to ensure that it's ready for flight. And although the engineering design process we do may seem repetitive with the iterating on a design, going back, testing again, and repeating, it's an extremely important part of designing safe and reliable systems and machines, which is even more important in something like space travel. Now that we know how our space lander works, there are some things to think about, such as how would the design change if we needed to land on Mars instead of with Earth gravity? What if we were landing in a pool of water? Or how could we soften the lander and slow the fall before it even hits the ground? What other materials would be helpful when designing our space lander? And if you had to start over, what would you design differently and why?